Hello, and thank you for watching Kingsport Tool Review. My name is Gary, and today we're going to be discussing a tool that everybody out there just loves. Everybody loves it, except me. I don't love them. And that tool, of course, is going to be the multi-bit screwdriver. Now, I have 4 of them right here. I actually own 5 of them. I have one by a company called Lennox. Here's one by a company called Tecton. Here's one by Klein. And here's one by Ideal, who prints their logo on the end. And I have a 5th one of these, a 5th one by a company called Greenlee, but as of the time of this making of this video, I couldn't find it anywhere. Which, by the way, means that when I'm not looking for it, it's going to be in my way, because isn't that how that sort of thing works? But anyway, I actually get teased by some of my coworkers because I'm like one of the only one. Granted, I'm old school, but I'm one of the only ones that doesn't carry a multi-bit screwdriver in my pouch. But there is an advantage to having one of these. And I'm going to go over that advantage in just a second. And the advantage that I'm going to say, or what I'm going to call the advantage, is not what you think it is. Because what you're expecting me to say is the advantage is you're just carrying one screwdriver, and you can swap the bit around and from a flathead to a Phillips. And that's true. But that's not what I'm going to call the advantage. And I'll get to that in a second. But I will tell you, of the ones that I've owned, and I currently own 5 of them. They're not the only 5 I've ever owned. I have owned ones by other brands such as Craftsman. I've owned a Milwaukee one before. It seems like I've owned one, a cheap one that I bought at a auto parts store, and I don't even remember the brand name. Might have been Performance Tool. I don't know. I no longer own those. So I have owned several of these. But something that I want to say is, of the ones that I have owned, all the different brands, the Ideal one is the one that I've really liked the best. And I'll tell you why I like it the best. Is number one, I really love the contours of the handle. I'm going to hold it up to the camera. Can you see these ridges right here? These comfort ridges. The yellow part is a really hard plastic, but this is a almost squishy, rubbery overmold on it. And it's got these these rises on it that really form to your hand perfectly. So I really like this one by Rigid. Unfortunately, Ideal does not put this same handle on their regular screwdrivers, because if they did, I would have bought a set a long time ago. Their regular screwdrivers have a handle that almost mimics or looks almost identical to a Klein. And there's nothing wrong with Klein. In fact, that's my favorite screwdriver. But Ideal tools, if you're watching this video, if you ever put this handle on your regular screwdrivers, I will buy a set because I love this handle. But my biggest gripe about these, another reason that I like this one the best, is on the end of it, the very end of it. I'm going to try to see if you can you see down inside that? That is a wire nut twister, where you can just stick your wire nut on it, stick that down in it, and where it's cone shaped on the inside, it really fits pretty much all the different sizes of wire nuts. And the slots on the side, even the ones that have the little wings, fit in there perfect because it's got all these different slots on it to make so that those will even fit. Very good, very smart. I don't know why all these multi-bit drivers don't do that. That is a very good idea. Another feature that it has is these. I'll see if you can hold it to the camera. See these little holes? Those 2 little holes are sort of like for stripping wire, solid wire. You can actually stick your wire, the end of that wire in that hole, and roll it and bend a loop on it. Now, I have a confession to make. I've never actually used it for that because there's already holes in my strippers that I use that for anyway. And to swap tools just to use the screwdriver just doesn't make sense. But it does have that feature if you wanted to use that. Now, the reason I don't like multi-bit screwdrivers, even this one that I claim to be my favorite, is because you can see the wear and tear on this one and the rust on the end of the bit where it's been used and used, where it has been used way more than the other ones have been. The reason I don't like these is because of this. I've had terrible luck regardless of the brand, even this one right here. In fact, notice it's missing the one on this side. That's because I lost it. Lost it several years ago. I don't know how many times I've used one of these, and when I put this, when I was done using it, pulled the screwdriver back, and the bit stays into stays in it, and I have to reach in and get the bit. I have to reach in and get the bit out. Another reason I don't like these, not a lot of times when you pull the screwdriver back, the bit falls out and it falls on the ground, and you have to, and it rolls, and it always rolls in a place that's hard to get to, and you have to go and get your bit. Now, going back to what I said earlier about the one advantage that all of these things have over a regular screwdriver, what I'm calling the advantage. And that is particularly if you do electrical work, you're working in a PLC or installing a computer rig, a patch panel, or anything like that that has a lot of computer components close together, and you got those little Phillips head screws, and it's just close enough together that you can't fit a screwdriver in there, and your hand's too big. That's where these things become beautiful, because you can take one of these screwdrivers, take out the 1/4 inch hex side, because it's got a hex side nut driver on it. Take that out, and an extension bit, an impact extension bit, fits into these things perfectly. Fits perfect. This is a Milwaukee. Let me turn it around so you can see the logo on it. This is a Milwaukee extension bit. Put that into this, and suddenly it becomes a much longer screwdriver. I've got a 12-inch one of these. It can turn into the longest screwdriver you own. You know, you'll just have to put your bit in the end of it. But that is the one advantage to these, and why I recommend that you should have them, despite the fact that I'm not a huge fan of them. The extension bit makes it possible for you to get this thing into places that you would never get a regular screwdriver. So that is the advantage of that, of owning one of these. And it does come, having that feature does come in handy, and I know of at least 2 times that sticking one of these extension bits at the end of it really saved me from having to take stuff out just to be able to get to 1 or 2 screws to tighten down a component. So that's why I would recommend, even though I'm not a huge fan of them and I don't love them, but I still recommend having them, is for situations like that. Perfect for that, good for that. And like I said, if you don't own one of these and you're thinking about getting one of these, I'll recommend the Ideal. Of course, most people know the Ideal and SK are the same company, but Ideal, I'll really recommend this one because it does have simply for no reason other than the handle is really fantastic, and it has the wire nut twister on the end of it. Okay, well, thank you very much, and thank you for watching Kingsport Tool Review. And my name is Gary, and you have a great day. I'll get back to work.